If you're watching this on Chrome, Edge, Brave, or Vivaldi, you're using Google's tech, even if it doesn't say Google. Chromium has quietly taken over the internet, and most people have no idea. Today, we're diving into how Chromium became a near monopoly, what that means for the web, and what could happen if Google is forced to break it up, including what stocks might soar or sink as a result. Welcome to DIY Wall Street, and today we're talking about the Chromium monopoly. Let's rewind to 2006. Google's co-founders, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, wanted a faster, safer web browser. Their vision? A browser that could handle the modern internet. Think streaming, web apps, and more. At first, Google's leadership wasn't convinced, but after a secret demo, the project got the green light. In 2008, Google Chrome launched to the public. It was fast, minimal, and despite a few early bugs, users loved it. Chrome's market share exploded, and by 2010, it was available on Windows, Mac, and Linux. Today, Chrome commands about 65% of the global desktop browser market. That's more than Internet Explorer has ever had at its peak. But Chrome isn't alone. Under the hood, it runs on Chromium, an open source project led by Google. And here's the kicker: Microsoft Edge, Opera, Brave, Vivaldi, and dozens of other browsers all run on Chromium too. In fact, about 85% of all browsers today are powered by Chromium. Why? For browser makers, Chromium's code base means faster updates, fewer bugs, and instant compatibility with Chrome's massive extension library. For users, it means a smoother web experience no matter which browser you pick. But this convenience comes at a cost. A single company, Google, now has an enormous influence over how the web works. So who's left standing outside the Chromium club? The biggest is Mozilla Firefox, which uses its own engine called Gecko. Firefox is open source and privacy focused, but it's down to just 3.5% of the market. Apple Safari is another holdout. Using WebKit, ironically, the ancestor of Chromium, Safari dominates on iPhones and Macs, but is rarely seen elsewhere. Then there are niche players like Tor browser, which is all about privacy, and text-only browsers like Why do some people avoid Chromium? For privacy, to support a more open web, or simply to reduce Google's influence? Here's where things get serious. Because Google funds about 90% of Chromium's development, it has a huge sway over what features and standards get built into browsers. That means Google can shape the future of the web, often in ways that benefit its own ads and services. In 2025, the US Department of Justice called Chrome a search monopoly in its antitrust case against Google. Developers say they have to optimize sites for Chromium or risk breaking things for most users. That leaves little room for alternatives and stifles innovation. So what if regulators force Google to sell Chrome or spin off Chromium? Alphabet, Google's parent company, could take a big hit, especially since Chrome helps drive its $200 billion ad business. Some analysts predict a short-term stock dip. But Google's investments in cloud and AI might cushion the blow. Who could benefit? Mozilla might claw back market share, though it's a non-profit and not publicly traded. Apple could expand Safari beyond its own devices. Privacy-focused companies like DuckDuckGo could see a surge in users and investor interest. Chromium's dominance has made the web faster and more compatible, but it's also concentrated power in Google's hands. If regulators step in, the web could change in ways we haven't seen since the browser wars of the 90s. Quick question: what browser are you using right now? Drop in the comments and let's see how many of us are unknowingly using Chromium. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into tech's biggest stories.